Okay, so we like stacking chords in thirds. But why stop at 3 notes? What if we stacked another third on top of that? Enter the 7th chord. The 7th chord gets its own episode because there are so many different varieties and flavors of 7th chord. It's a large classification of chord family. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the major chord. We'll say D, F sharp, and A. Great. Now we need a 7th. Let's add a major 7th above the D, which gives us a C sharp. We would call this a D major major 7 chord because there's a major third between the D and the F sharp, and there's a major 7th between the D and the C sharp. We typically simplify the name of this chord to D major 7, but just know that the name includes those 2 pieces of information. What if we took the same D major chord, but instead added a minor 7th? That would give us D, F sharp, A, and C natural. We would call this a D major minor 7 chord. It sounds like this. Now, that's a very distinct sound. Why? Because it plays a very specific function in tonal harmony. D major is the dominant chord in the key of G, or the 5-7, which is why we call this the dominant 7 chord. Each major key has a dominant 7 chord embedded in its key signature. Now, let's move over to the minor chords. If we have a minor chord, let's say B minor, which is B, D, and F sharp, and we stick a minor 7th on top, we would get A natural. We would call this a B minor minor 7 chord, and that's because there's a minor third between B and D natural, and a minor 7th between B and A natural. The result is a lovely smooth chord that sounds like this. And much like the major 7 chord, we can shorten this to be B minor 7. The way that I like to remember the major 7 and the minor 7 chords is the star theme from Super Mario. This theme is made up of a D minor 7 chord alternating with a C major 7 chord. Now it gets fun. Let's start with the same B minor 7 chord, B, D, F sharp, and A. But what if we were to take that 5th and make it a diminished 5th? Now we have B, D, F, and A. That gives us what we call a B half diminished 7 chord. That's not at all confusing, is it? What it means is that we have a diminished 5th between the 1st and the 5th, and a minor 7th between the 1st and the 7th. And it sounds like this. Now, what if we were to take that B diminished triad, B, D, F, and instead we were to put a diminished 7th on top? So now we have B, D, F, and A flat. This is called a fully diminished 7 chord because there's 2 diminished intervals in the chord. This is the chord that I mentioned last time that evenly splits the octave into fourths. It's simply a series of stacked minor thirds. Now, here's a chart that compares all of the 7 chords side by side. Thanks for watching this episode of 2-Minute Music Theory. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Also be sure to check out my other channel, Jesse Strickland Music, which is home of all of my compositions. And if you're the kind of person who uses social media, feel free to connect with me there.